Welcome again, everybody, to the seventh installment of the Don't Sink podcast. Today I have Lai Lacaba here. She is my seventh guest on the podcast. She is a founder, entrepreneur. She's published a book, and today I'm going to get into her story and delve a little bit into how she got to the point she is today. So I guess as introduction, just kind of get into where you're from and how was it growing up there.
So I feel lucky, number seven, being your seventh guest then. So
Yep.
I'm from the Philippines. Basically, currently I am Cebu, Philippines, which is the second biggest city. But I did grow up in a smaller town, and it was basically just the usual small town feeling every time I go home. Still, of everyone knows everyone, and for a while my path was to become a lawyer. That was kind of the path,
Okay.
Asian path, basically. You're either
Right.
an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor, or an engineer as
Nice.
well. Uh, and There was, when I was 15, though, I discovered that you can work online. So I
Hmm.
was still in high school, and I started getting freelance gigs basically as a writer online. No one was asking me how my age, what my age
Right.
was. Basically, this was back in 2011. Um, so then from there, I just kind of got any gig that I could online. No one was really asking. My parents weren't really asking where I was getting my money as much.
Right.
That I was getting my buying myself books basically as well. When I was 18, though, and this is very common in the Philippines, is that we had a super typhoon, which was,
Okay.
if I remember right, it's like 350 kilometers per hour, the wind speed basically,
Mm.
and that brought on a kind of a mini tsunami basically into our house. Our water levels rose up. It was up to here for
Wow.
me, and I was
Wow.
terrified because I was alone. Because I made sure all my siblings and my grandmother were all upstairs. I went back for groceries. Didn't know that the water would rise up that fast. And then I
Wow.
made the decision of, if I lived through that, I would change the way that I lived my life. I would take more risks. Basically, I wanted to um, die knowing that I lived a life worth writing out.
Hmm.
Other than the fiction books that I was writing at that time.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
since then, I researched and found out how to publish my book on Amazon. So I self-published even before self-publishing was a thing.
Mm.
Then I found a job at a book publishing company because I'm a huge book nerd, basically, which was the dream to be an editor. For that, it was a startup. So a year later, when the boss basically asked, like, "Hey, we're starting another company. Who wants to be the CEO of this one, of the publishing company?" I was 19, 20 years old. I raised my hand, and I said, "Yep, let me do it. Let me be trained up to run this business." And I did. Became CEO when I was when few months after I turned 20, and then
Mm.
again, another few years later, I was like, "Hey, I think I've learned a lot on running this publishing company. I've automated it enough. I want to start my own business." And my boss was like, "Instead of leaving, why not just partner with me?" And basically, that's what I've done. So the current business that I have to XU are hiring, managing, and training virtual assistants for a lot of our clients. And the main thing for me is I've come kind of full circle of hiring people to work remotely. Just like for me, I've been working remotely for all of my life, basically since I
Right.
started. And in the Philippines, when you want to earn really good money, most of the choices are that you have to work overseas, you have to leave your family behind. And my dad was very much that same way, where he left
Hmm.
during that superstorm. It was only me and my siblings and my grandma, because my dad was working seas. My mom was in a training basically in another city. So I want to provide parents and of course their kids just options of being able to spend time with family and have a job that they really like.
Yeah, I think that's a very noble thing that you're doing. And you've achieved so much at a young age. It's really inspiring. Me personally, I've been doing this podcast thing not too long, but I'm trying to figure out ways that I can work remotely and expand that part of my life because I love traveling and I want to travel the world and not be kind of like pinned down to one location. Um,
Oh yeah.
like so when you were 18, like you didn't have any second thoughts on making a book and you didn't think of like, oh, I'm too young, or you didn't have any second thoughts. You just were like, this is, I know I could do this.
It was more curiosity, and then
Mm-hmm.
finding out that you can like self-publish yourself. So on the doubt side, the book that I wrote, I already had on my blog, basically that I had on that time. I was also earning from AdSense, um, from Google, basically. So I kind of had proof that people liked my book because I was already
Mm-hmm.
publishing it. And then at what point, because it was 2011, I put it up on Wattpad, and then more people even liked it as well. So I kind of had the even tiny validation that this book would be something people would like to read. And
Mm-hmm.
then publishing it on Amazon, it didn't reach like bestseller heights because of course they didn't have a list and no idea what I was doing. But for me, it was more of like, if I died, my name was on the internet. That was kind of the
Mm-hmm.
thought of, after you go through kind of a near death experience, it's kind of the main
Yeah.
thing that jingled in my head.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to wanting to leave a mark and just having the world know that you contributed.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your goal. I read on your profile that you had a goal of having 1 million Filipinos work from home, and I think that
Hmm.
is like amazing. That would be like the literal definition of like a future I would want to live in. Um,
Yep.
how do you? What steps are you taking to like get closer and closer to that goal?
So I've been doing a lot actually, even more so right after the pandemic. So main one is I do have a YouTube channel where I teach people how to get started working online or how to start a business online. So either if you want a career or a business, I talk about it in my YouTube channel. That one just reached 19K subscribers the other day, which that's kind of one of the counters in my head. The others is of course I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram Reels. I do workshops in person. I do a lot of webinars. Like last week, I did a webinar with I think almost 70 people on there last Saturday.
Okay.
Um, and I've been on stages with 500 to 800 people on it, basically on the crowd. So that's kind of been a lot of what I've been doing. It's just been teaching. I also have a
Mm-hmm.
course on how to use ChatGPT when you're a virtual assistant. A lot of it has been educating, and of course with 2XU, getting more and more clients inside of 2XU means that I'm hiring one more person myself to work from home, which means in my head always the same time of like anytime that I teach one person, like if I teach a mom or I teach an oldest sister, I know that they're teaching their siblings or their cousins or someone
Yeah.
else, and that's kind of the impact that I have in my head.
Can you
Yeah.
describe like what a virtual assistant looks like, and how it's kind of changing people's lives? Not kind of is. Can you
Sorry, you cut
describe like
off just a
oh,
little bit there at the
I cut off.
end.
Oh, I was just saying, can you describe like what a virtual assistant is and like how it can change somebody's life and change
So
the way they work?
whenever virtual assistant is basically you are kind of imagine you are a not really the receptionist, but the way that I always describe it is like imagine like Devil Wears Prada, or like movies where you have the big CEO and then they have the assistant right out front, or like from Suits,
Mm-hmm.
Donna from Suits, basically, where you're
Okay.
the right hand person of the boss of the either the executive or the actual business owner. And a lot of what you do would be helping manage their life because there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of different things happening always. So you're helping them clear up their inbox, their calendar, also manage their travel. Or it could also, that's more of an admin VA, but there's also things like social media VA, which is creating content, publishing it, engaging content for your client. There's like bookkeeping VA. So there's different variations basically depending on what your forte is and what the client's business needs.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, it's such an easier way to kind of get into working online, like working remotely, because you basically can start with whatever skills that you have and then specialize or gain more as you become a virtual assistant. And for my favorite example always to kind of have is my own assistant. My current assistant right now, when I hired her, she was just fresh out of college, but even though she just graduated, she had like 3 to 6 months of experience being a VA for someone, just because she was doing that while still studying. So it's a little bit of an
Mm-hmm.
easier lower barrier to entry, just because
Okay.
most entrepreneurs get really overwhelmed and just need someone, anyone, to kind of help them get out of that
Yeah.
overwhelm.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I think taking that route can open up a lot of opportunities for people in terms of like just living that life of being remote. There's not too many career options you can take where you don't have to be somewhere for like 8 hours a day or,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm just so fascinated in how people can travel the world while making an income.
Oh yeah.
How has how can using a virtual assistant, like how would that work in terms of I guess content creation? That's what I'm interested in, like um managing content creation and um keeping up with just everything in terms of all the media sites and keeping up with, meetings and things of that nature.
So for me, specifically on the content creation side, because like especially like last year where I traveled a lot, I traveled like one place every month basically. Um,
Wow.
I just had to do 40 minutes of work, I think, per week. Like I record two videos. So I release a video every Sunday and Thursday. That gets recorded. I finish that usually in 20 minutes each. And then I give that to, it used to be that I give that to my assistant, and then my assistant takes care of everything. Now we have an actual dedicated video editor for it. But it used to
Mhm.
be then it's given to an assistant. She edits, basically cuts them into things for like YouTube shorts and reels. And that also gets turned into a graphic. So it makes having a what we call a content machine just a little bit easier, because I record basically for just a few minutes a week, but that it becomes this evergreen kind of we're still right now even publishing videos, like the short reels, of course repurposing it even way back from like I don't know, October or September. That's kind of
Okay.
the freedom from it as well. And then on the flip side, my assistant's also the one getting me booked on podcasts, finding me speaking engagements to be able to speak at, and also again managing like my calendar as well, like making sure that I get on meetings or get on projects and things that I've committed to. So she keeps me on track on what I need to do, whether that's on the content creation side or on the business side as well.
Cool. Um, was this like a something that um when it came to you, did you think it was ever going to be as big or as in demand as it is, or were you kind of like you just had an idea and you just went with it?
Just an idea and went with it. It's still to this day my intention is still to do, to get a million Filipinos working with me, still to educate.
Mm-hmm.
I've carved out a pretty comfortable life for myself. Not wealth wise, but to like okay, I know the things that I need. I need a really good place to work out when I'm at home, and then when I'm traveling, I'm like anywhere
Yeah.
I want to be. So it still is, and all about like educating and getting people working from home.
So in terms of 2XU, um, is it more for the entrepreneur that wants to hire the virtual assistant, or is it more for people that want to become a virtual assistant go?
It's kind of it's almost like a chicken and the egg kind of question,
Okay.
which comes first, because it's the same loop basically. It's the same chain in my
Mhm.
head of like
Okay.
I wanna. I'm super curious about how other businesses work,
Mhm.
which so then me having a business where I can work with a virtual assistant and then know how the business works. That's kind of how it is for me. But at the same time, our own goal is to support people who are creating value in the world. Like we 2XU doesn't just work with anyone. We pick out basically who our um, target clients are. I have said no
Right.
to clients basically when they're not a match.
Mhm.
So most of our clients have been like business coaches or consultants who very specialized in helping a lot of other entrepreneurs. So it's kind of like a good. We support basically the people who support other people. So we support the good in the world and growing that value in the world as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. Um, what countries have you visited, and what are some of your favorite places to go?
So it's mostly been Southeast Asia because little fun fact, it's in the Philippines it's harder to get visa for a lot of places. We can only visit like I think 100 something countries. So I mostly focus on Southeast Asia, last year I went to Thailand, Singapore, and Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I've
Mm.
been also to Bali, Hong Kong, Taiwan. I'm forgetting what other country. um, and this year I plan to. I'm going to Singapore for the Taylor Swift concert. I'm going to
Oh,
Japan
nice.
in May. So I've been to a lot of places. My favorite still, and I think it's because it's the first place that I went solo traveling to, is Taiwan. Um,
Mm.
it's I am still a big fan of Spirited Away, and they had a village basically
Me
where
too.
it came from. So I just sat on the
Wow.
stairs and just stared at it for the longest time. Um,
Yeah.
and I've gotten lost on the train. I ended up in a different town versus like where I wanted to go. So like a lot of the high adrenaline of like, oh, I'm doing this
Yeah.
alone, kind of feeling. That I think that's why Taiwan's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm actually moving to Thailand next year in
Ooh.
February. Yeah, and I'm trying to like do all the planning and itinerary work now. But my main thing is like I have the money to live there,
Mm.
but the thing I'm trying to like navigate is how I can still make income while I'm there
Oh well.
because I'm just going off my savings. So I'm trying to
Mm,
figure out what is a way I can make money while I'm there so
mm,
that maybe I don't have to come back as soon as I have to come back. I want to
mm.
probably stay out there longer. So um yeah, I think
What kind of a job do you have right now for like or what would you plan to find remote work for?
well now I'm a film student
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make like short films and movies. My goal though is to travel to different countries and make documentaries about the different places I travel to. Thailand being the first one. So I want to like my goal is to make a documentary of like city life in contrast to like um province life and living actually like away from the big populous city and just
Mm,
draw those two contrasts. Um, but I'm trying to figure out a way out how I would not only efficiently create all this content, but monetize it as well.
mm,
So I'm trying to like navigate that, and that's why I found this whole virtual assistant thing very interesting because I'm constantly looking for new remote ways to work and make money. And it's not. I mean, unless like in America, it's not as it's kind of frowned upon. Like it kind of kicked up during COVID, but once COVID was over, it was kind of like everyone got to go back to work. There's not as many remote jobs as there was.
well, it's funny because like here it's thriving. Like in the Philippines, like a lot of the
Wow,
offices are empty because people have just
mm,
opted to work from home.
wow,
So on your current goal, right, one job right off the bat that I can think of that I can charge a lot because I know a friend who charges a lot. It's just video editing. You
mm,
can work with other podcasts like this one, and then apply as their video editor. They're looking always to repurpose, of course, the content that they created for about 20 to 30 minutes,
yeah,
and then. Like I said, I have a friend who charges like a lot for it, even and he even uses like AI with it now. He is I forget which tool he's using, but he's using one AI tool to help with like the subtitles, the effects for the
mm,
video, and he makes it look really really easy. I'm sure it's like a lot of work, but I know
yeah,
that's one of the like last year he went to Korea. This year he's traveling somewhere else as well. So I that's one of the things is just doing that or just off the top of my head because of your film expertise um it would also be a traveling what's that called? Like prenuptial shoot. Um coordinator, something like that. Like I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of um an employee of mine this year is traveling to Korea to get their prenuptial photos done. So like if you were able to
mm,
advertise like, hey, I'm going to be in Thailand for 6 months. Let me know if you guys are flying out here to do your prenuptial photos. That could be another one that you could be doing physically versus, and then also having the
right,
video editing still as something remote. So there's things like that that I've seen a lot of people thrive in.
yeah. I would definitely consider that because I can edit. I mean, I do edit all
Yeah.
day, anyways. Yeah, I'm fascinated with Southeast Asia and the culture of it. that's why I picked Thailand. Like it took me forever to pick a country, so I just picked Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Pretty good country to start. It's really pretty and really good food as well. And everyone is really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, the Land of Smiles, I hear it's called.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I um, speaking of Spirited Away, Studio Ghibli movies is the reason I even started my fascination with Southeast Asia.
So maybe also
Um,
Taiwan.
yeah,
Visit Jufen. That's the name of the town.
shoot,
Hmm.
yeah, I can't wait to visit. I've saved up like I saved up for a whole year
Hmm.
because I was like I just set it in my mind. This is what I wanted to do. Um, I'm just so fascinated with the culture, the food, the landscapes, the just the people. It's also fascinating, and I'm glad there's new ways to go about doing that in terms of like being a virtual assistant or just other different methods of working remote. And I want just to spread the word about it because I think there's a lot of people like me in America that want that, but they
Hmm.
just don't know where to look or don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I mean, we could Google remote jobs. They come up with like the list of different things you could do, but like a lot of people don't know like how to dip their toe in or like just make that first step to get in. And I'm definitely gonna consider um, video editing because that's something that could
It's a
definitely
need.
be definitely be a method. Um, where do you see your company in maybe a decade, 10 years from now?
So 10 years from now, I would be 38. um, for a lot of the focus I have right now is to exceed getting to exceed to I have a revenue number in mind of where I want it to be, but at the same time, like
Hmm.
this year I'm starting also an AI consulting agency, and then I have a content marketing agency on the wraps as well, like on the way to being created. So the way that I'm seeing how to exceed will evolve in the next couple of years is it becomes kind of this I'm kind of a fan of Star Wars, so I'm calling this an empire
Hmm.
basically of other companies,
Yeah.
where everything kind of correlates with each other. Like we have the virtual assistant agency, which then, if clients are interested in doing AI, then we have the AI consulting agency. If they need more support on their content, we have the content marketing agency, we have the bookkeeping agency. So I have like different businesses that I have in mind, that basically goes back up to supporting the assistants into XU. So that's kind of where I'm really excited about it. The way that I'm building to XU up.
Yeah, I hope to see it flourish. Being as busy as you are and having all these ambitions and different directions you want to take your company, what are some ways that you avoid burnout and becoming just, you know, victim of exhaustion?
So one thing that changed a lot actually from in my life like last year was one of my business coaches taught me how to put life in my work calendar. So what it means was I made sure when I wanted to sleep, I put it on my calendar. When I wanted to eat,
Hmm.
because something that happened a lot before was I would forget to eat the whole day. I would put the time where I wanted to take breaks, and also when I didn't want to have meetings at all. Like for example, like today's a
Okay.
Wednesday afternoon, I take the Wednesday afternoon off. People
Okay.
and everyone else in the company knows this, that if it's a Wednesday afternoon, I might not respond to their messages as fast.
Right.
Um, so with the practice basically of adding life into my calendar, it's a little bit more manageable. But of course, in my
Hmm.
early 20s, I did the grind. I did the 80 hours a week of work,
Yeah.
because I was still kind of trying to figure out like what it looked like for myself. And then of course
Hmm.
now entering my late 20s, so I'm a little bit more comfortable with saying no because I went through the phase in my life where I just kept saying yes.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
really depends on like avoiding burnout. Really depends on which stage you are, because there is the stage, of course, of like trying to prove myself, and then the stage of
Yeah.
like, okay, I've proved myself, now I just want more, which is where I'm currently at. And then it's kind of like a cycle. It never really ends. Like I know when I start the AI agency, I'll go back to the grind because I feel it
Hmm.
in myself. Like I have to prove myself that I could be someone in that space. And if I
Right.
started the other business, it'll be the same thing over and over again. So, and the other thing is like since I'm a huge bookworm, I always make time for my books. Like I'm always surrounded by, either have my Kindle in hand or I have like a physical
Yeah,
book somewhere in my bag. So I make time for the things that bring me joy. So then I'm reminded that that's just because I'm grinding doesn't mean that's all my life is.
I could definitely relate. I think I'm in that 80-hour a week phase. I'm like I'm trying to figure out my sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
it's a
a lot.
it's a travesty. It's
Yeah.
I've basically I know how important sleep is, but it's almost like impossible to get 8 hours of sleep and do everything because I mean, I do have a podcast, but I think of it as more than a podcast. I think of it more as like just this is like one branch of a company that I want to take to a larger stage. I
Yeah.
eventually want it to be a media company that makes documentaries,
Yeah. There you go.
but it's like I mean, I haven't experienced too much burnout, but I know one day it's gonna come and it's gonna hit me like a train. So I'm just trying to figure out different ways to and time management is definitely great advice. Um, I just started using a calendar this year, like
Hmm.
2024. I just started using a calendar. It's changed my life. Just knowing what's got to be done today and
Yep.
just today.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a game changer. Um, so being from the Philippines, I know you said that being working remotely is flourishing. Um, do you think that is this something that's flourishing in the rest of Southeast Asia or is it still spreading around?
Good question. I think part of the reason why it's flourishing in the Philippines a little bit is because since English is our second language, it's easy for people
Mhm.
to from outside the Philippines to hire us. From other countries, it might not be as easy, but it depends if the English is needed. Like
Right.
for I'm trying to think of like specific countries and where they're at. Like of course like for like I know for a lot of graphic artists specifically, you can actually hire out of forgetting which countries, but like things that where you don't need to speak to the client basically. We're just read
Right.
off. I know it's a little bit easier to still get a lot of remote jobs. And the other thing that I've been seeing a lot is then digital nomads or remote workers are coming here to work as well
Yeah.
because then they're on vacation and they're able to still be able to work. So it's been a mix of both. But I think one of the primary reasons is the English is our second language part. Um, but I've seen a lot of it. I've when I was traveling around and when I went to Kuala Lumpur last year, it was actually a nomad. How to become a
Mm.
nomad conference that I attended, and a lot of it was a mix of a lot of people from the West, but also a lot of Asians as well who are like exploring and seeing what it could be looking like for them. So it's been a growing community. I think because I'm here, I'm a little bit more biased of seeing it, just because I haven't been too observant of when I'm traveling of like who's working remote or not.
Right. Um, if I do visit the Philippines next year, hopefully sometime like next next fall maybe. I'm trying to avoid the rain season. I'm trying to like work it around there. Um,
Hmm.
what are some like go-to places or sightseeing spots?
There's too many to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I haven't even explored a lot of them yet. It would have been best, funny enough, if you came around this time, like January, because we just
Hmm.
had what they usually call one of the biggest parties in the Philippines. It's called Sinolog. So
Okay.
it's usually on the third Sunday. And there's this huge parade, like showing off like our heritage. But at night, partying goes until like 7 a.m. the next day. So it becomes like this party central here in Cebu. And then like today it's like a bright and sunny day. There's little to minimum clouds out. It's like blue sky. So it's a beautiful day. And I know a lot of foreigners come here basically around this time when it's like really really cold wherever you're at as
Yeah.
well. So um there's that. Of course, we have like diving spots. So depending on like the kind of adventure you also want, we have diving spots. We have places where you can do extreme sports. We have places where you could just sit in the mountain and no one will bother you for like a week if you don't want anyone else to bother you. So it really depends
Mm.
on the range of or the level of adventure, I guess, that you want.
Right.
Like uh, we have witchy towns basically as well. So there's a lot of different areas depending on what it is they like to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting. Such a beautiful place. Um, I'm just. I know you said English is the second language there. Is it necessary to learn? I'm not sure how to pronounce. I think it's Tagalog.
Um, Tagalog is only if you are in the north, basically. Like if you're in the upper
Okay.
parts of, like we speak Tagalog everywhere, but we have 270, I'm probably butchering that, dialects. We have a lot of
Oh
mix depending
wow.
on which city you are. So English is your best bet. Like my
Right.
boss that I was telling about in my story, I forgot to add, he's American. He's been here for 10 years.
Mhm.
He only knows like 5 words of oral
Okay.
dialect. Just because like everyone else
Okay.
is just willing to speak to him in English. So
Right.
um but for us, like we find it funny whenever foreigners try to speak in our language because you guys have a weird accent to it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I I cannot wait to go, and I am thrilled to hear that remote work is spreading and it's flourishing the way that it is. Um, I my like vision for hope for the world is that we all eventually work from our computers so we can, intermingle
Sure.
and travel
Yeah.
anywhere we want on Earth.
Hmm.
That's my dream. Um, I think I think what you're doing is definitely one of the larger leaps towards that goal, and I'm definitely gonna tap in and look at your YouTube because I'm really fascinated with this topic of remote work and um, being a virtual assistant and just utilizing new technology to benefit us. I mean, I know a lot of people are like scared of AI and have all these daunting thoughts about it, but I think it's probably gonna have more pros than cons going forward. I commend you for starting this company and spreading it to the Philippines. I mean, I can imagine how many people it's helped and it will help. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the growth.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited for it too.
So, my final thoughts. I wanted to ask you, um, where are some places that you haven't been that you would still like to go?
That's a very long list. Um, like right now, I'm on my desktop. I just have Japan because I'm wanting to go there. I've never been there yet.
Yeah.
That's one of the places I have to get a visa for. I'm also hoping this year to get to Bulgaria, all the way to Europe. There's a speaking gig that I think I might just get. And my top one is always just like New York, in my head, because like ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a New York Times that was kind of
Okay.
the goal and the dream, and of course that's evolved a lot. But it's still in my head. So Japan, New York, Bulgaria, which is basically Europe. Because once I get to Europe, I'm just going everywhere. Um, and I think I'm not 100% sure because I'm saying this as a Filipino who's never seen snow. I think I want to also go to I think it's one of the places I also want to hit, just so I can say I'm
Yeah.
going to all 7 continents.
Yeah, from Ohio, I can tell you're not missing out on much. Um,
On snow.
it's snow everywhere. One of my main motivations to get up out of here is the snow.
Well, as
Um,
someone who's never seen snow, then I
yeah,
want to see snow.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It does have its magical moments, but after a while, it gets kind of
Yeah,
brutal.
I've heard.
I can't imagine a world where it doesn't snow on Christmas, though. I cannot. It's always snowed on Christmas. I
Hmm.
cannot imagine a sunny Christmas. That probably is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It does get stormy, like right around. Of course, our kind of rainy storm season is like November to. It should be January, but like January has been a bright sunny day the whole time. Like end
Wow.
of December, I guess. Like this Christmas. No, this Christmas was I spent it at the beach. If that helps, of like putting that picture
Wow.
in your head on Christmas Day, I was at the beach.
Yeah.
So we beach with
Nice.
our five dachshunds running around basically. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, no, it's nice if you time if you're able to time it right.
That's another thing I heard about the Philippines. They really love dogs.
Yeah, we do.
You
We
have
always have fun.
5 Dachshunds. Those aren't those are really long and skinny dogs?
Yep, our five hot dogs.
Wow. That
Yep,
must be amazing.
they're balls of energy, and then they get really tired and cuddly, so they're perfect.
Wow. Nice. Well, it's been an honor and it's been a privilege to have you on my podcast. And
Happy to be your
I
second.
yeah, lucky number 7.
Hmm.
Uh, if the people want to find you, follow you, and just see how you're doing, where can they find you?
Because of my amazing assistant, I am everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok, I have like I think I just hit 42,000 followers on TikTok the other day, and
Nice.
basically everywhere else. But I think I'm most active on Instagram for myself. Like my assistant doesn't have access to my Instagram. Everything else she does. So I for myself, direct contact is just Instagram.
It's been great. If you guys want to become a virtual assistant or work remotely, follow her, listen to her content. Um, I think what you're doing is revolutionary, and I just wish you the best of luck in your endeavors moving forward.
Thank you, Noah.
Have a great New Year as well.
Yeah, you too. Also almost Chinese New Year. So if you come around Thailand, I think around Chinese New Year next year, or you said fall, it's also a beautiful thing that happens because everyone has some Chinese community somewhere, and it's fun to watch.
Cool. I can't wait to get there.
Hmm.
It's been a blessing talking to you, and I hope you have a good day because your day just started.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Noah.
Yep. See you.
I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living.
Bottom line, there were no weapons of mass destruction.
Totally unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. Of Ukraine.
A new world order. A new world order can emerge. A new era. No, don't.
And Hillary are demons.
Really, peace in our time.
Those folks still want to run for vote.
Peace in all time.